Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to go over real quick this lecture over the spine, okay? Again, guys, I think the spine, anybody will tell you if you're going on into any kind of postgraduate stuff, this needs to be another full semester, and you will get another full semester of just the spine because obviously it's one of the most complicated things that we have besides our hips in our body. But basically what I want to break down, because this is an intro class, is what to look for just as an initial evaluation. If somebody is coming in, I'm going to relate this to athletic training. If somebody is coming in and they keep dealing with like either lower back pain or side pain, either left or right of their spine, I'm not talking about directly on the spine, I'm talking about either left or right. Again, we're not talking about C-spine right now. That's all dealt with in first aid, and I'll also give you a PowerPoint on that as well. I do want you to realize on that PowerPoint with the C-spine, you never remove the helmet in I don't care whether it's football, hockey, or any lacrosse, whatever sport that you're doing with, you never remove the helmet. That's a final question, by the way. But if you're either having an athlete or a patient come in just complaining of just any kind of pain with any kind of muscle surrounding it, we need to look at either symmetries of the spine. And what I mean by that is as they grow, maybe some of you had or got diagnosed with some kind of curvature of the spine, whether it's scoliosis or lordosis or kyphosis, which I'll go over in just a second, or maybe it's something just as easy as their core stabilization is just super weak, okay? So real quick, I'm just looking at this core stabilization. We know now that with a good, strong core, it does support the spine tremendously, and it does keep our hips in check, all right? It is our main foundation. Some might argue it's our second foundation of the kinetic chain when you're looking at a sport-specific movement. I think it's the second part, but it does correlate with the first part. Some people argue that the arch of your foot is actually the first part because it acts just like as a core, okay? Other than that, guys, with the history, you need to take a long, good history. So make sure you give yourself about 30 good minutes if you have time for somebody to come in. Obviously, if you're on the field, making sure you're ruling out a fracture. What is the pain scale? Where is the pain originating from? Is there any numbness and tingling coming down both legs? If it's some kind of sciatic pain, are they walking with a limp? Is it a tightness of the iliopsoas? I can go on and on and on. But if it's coming from the cervical spine, I do have the next my next video and the special test to show you the Sperling's test, which is basically it's nerve root impingement. So sometimes with weakness of our neck muscles, our nerves can slip within the facets of the cervical spine and kind of give us burning or numbness sensation, and it gets very annoying, and obviously it can shut us down from either work or playing sports. So I'll give you a special test about that, all right? But the biggest thing I want to show you is the symmetries, okay? On one of these slides here, I want you to look at, and we actually have good technology, and there's actually good apps now that can look at the symmetries, seeing any curvature of the spine, whether or not your shoulders are riding either to the right or to the left. These are all things that can be fixed over time with proper back exercises, lifting techniques, anything to do in the off season, because something is definitely weak, okay? It all starts with our shoulder blades as well and the muscles surrounding it, okay? So make sure we look there. If somebody is a pitcher and pitching too much, I think I kind of explained this in the shoulder exercise or the shoulder lecture, but we can look at that there, okay? That means that we need to definitely work on tightening up and all the muscles around it, including our core, okay? With scoliosis, most of the time you see either a curvature to the right or curvature to the left. Over time, that can be fixed. If you ever had it, you might have wore a back brace, especially when you were growing up, but we need to keep your core tight, okay? We need to keep it strong. Make sure you're doing the eccentric planks and things like that. And not a lot of sit-ups will fix this. I'm not a big sit-up person, especially when I'm training my athletes or my patients as well, all right? So different things that we're looking at is kyphosis. Kyphosis is a sway of the cervical spine. So you'll see a big sway. Sometimes they look like a hunchback, okay? Scoliosis is either, like I said, to the left or to the right. And then lordosis is basically a curvature of the lumbar spine, okay? Other than that, guys, I have what I wanted to show you, which was in my next video, was the special test. And the only two I wanted to show you was the Sperling's test, which pain is positive for nerve root impingement, okay? and then the vertebral artery test. Okay, the vertebral artery is actually one of a very rare test, but I like it because I've seen too many of them and they get missed, especially by physicians that's been working for 20 years. You can sit there and throw the book at somebody. It usually happens with long distance runners, and they'll be sitting there complaining of fatigue, or they feel like they're going to pass out, and they're like, look, I'm in shape, my diet's on point, I don't know what's going on. We sit there and do blood work, we do all kinds of stuff, and actually it's a narrowing as we grow of our clavicle, and our first rib is actually cutting off circulation to our vertebral artery. The procedure for this is you actually just go in and you shave down either bone to where it gives it enough space, and then they should be good to go. Obviously, there's going to be some downtime to recover, but that vertebral artery test is kind of cool to do, so watch that video. If you're going to do it on one of your roommates or like your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, just make sure that they understand. Well, actually, you can do what you want to. You can be mean if you want to and tell them, hey, passing out is positive, but if they do pass out, make sure you get them up so you don't have a problem on your hands, okay? I've never had anybody truly pass out when I did this in class, but it's always fun to see, you know what I mean? Because it's very rare, and some of us have it, some of us don't. So other than that, guys, if you all have any questions whatsoever, email me, let me know. Other than that, I'll do another lecture coming up next week, and then that'll be it. So thank you all, and I'll talk to you later.